Shemel Shai. Yahweh Shemel Shai.
So special.
Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh.
And whatsoever you shall ask in my name, that will I do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If you shall ask anything in my name, I will do it. If ye love me, keep my commandments.
Shalom. First, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachah Kudash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. Alright, this video is going to be addressing a comment, alright, that was left on a video that I did, alright, by this individual, Deep End Imagery, alright, and they basically asked, they said, if a Hebrew Israelite man marries a non-Israelite woman before learning about the truth of Yahushai, is there hope? I am his wife, in parentheses. And so I replied, and I said, Lord willing, I'll do a video on it. Now, I'm doing this video so hopefully this individual sees it and, can understand it. But dealing with, a non-Israelite woman, all right, I want to make it clear, because I don't know if, this lady here is, if she understands, in terms of non-Israelite as in a heathen, all right, or, non-Israelite as in somebody that doesn't, that's not, because, you have certain people that might confuse being an Israelite, for a religion. So they might, you might have an actual Israelite by blood, all right, who might look at us and be like, oh, well, I don't believe what you believe, or I don't practice what you practice, so that makes me a non-Israelite, even though by blood they would still be an Israelite. So that's why I wanted to do a video to explain it from both points. Now, if if this lady, if you, all right, are an Israelite, like I just try to explain the difference between the two. Being an Israelite is not a practice or a religion, all right, it's a nationality. It's like you have so-called Chinese people and so-called white people today. You don't say, well, I became Chinese, or I'm not Chinese anymore, kind of thing. You're born that way. It's your lineage. All right. So being an Israelite just means that you descend, all right, from the children of Israel. Okay, you're a descendant of the children of Israel, or your lineage, your line goes back to an Israelite. Okay, now you may not look, all right, like a typical Israelite, because pursuant to, get a quick precept real quick, all right, pursuant to Deuteronomy, all right, 28 and 64, you have Israelites that are scattered all throughout the four corners of the earth. So it says here, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So you have the same children of Israel that were in Egypt, that got delivered by the Lord through Moses and got brought to the promised land. Over a period of time, those people, all right, got scattered, all right, whether it's through traveling, or through being deported, or through being put in captivity, all right, whatever the case may be. You had Israelites that are scattered, all right, throughout the four corners of the earth, okay, meaning their descendants, okay, are living in all the different lands of the earth right now. All right, so you may have an Israelite or somebody that's living in China that looks straight up Chinese, that speaks Mandarin and all the other tongues, and they look like that, they look like it, but when you trace their line, it goes back to an Israelite who might have migrated to China, or whatever the case may be. So being an Israelite is not, oh, I practice the custom, or I go out there and teach, or whatever the case may be. No, you being an Israelite, that's just who you are. You're born that way. All right, you were created that way, I should say. Okay, so if you're speaking from the perspective of a marries a non-Israelite woman, in terms of a woman that doesn't practice, being an Israelite, then if that woman, all right, or if you, all right, if your line goes back to an Israelite, okay, by blood, okay, then you're good. Okay, now I'm gonna read the question again. So, if a Hebrew Israelite man marries a non-Israelite woman before learning about the truth of Yahushua, is there hope? So that's what I was trying to say. If by non-Israelite you mean a non-believer, okay, well, Paul says, look, if the unbelieving wife, 1 Corinthians the 7th chapter, if the unbelieving wife is pleased to dwell with the husband, let him not depart. I'm gonna pull that up real quick. Corinthians 7, I believe we're wrong, 14. All right. Okay. All right, this is 1 Corinthians 7 and 13. And the woman which hath an husband that believeth not. So if the woman believes, because you can be an Israelite, you could just not know it. You could just say, oh, I don't believe I'm an Israelite. That's not going to stop you from being an Israelite. That's as if Michael Jordan got up and said, I'm not black, I don't believe I'm black, so-called black or African American or whatever. That's not going to stop him from being it. Right? So, it says the woman, so she believes, she knows she's an Israelite, she believes, but her husband is like, nah, I'm not with that Israelite stuff. Nah, I ain't no Israelite. But he actually is. Okay? But he just doesn't believe. Or, believe in the gospel, all right, for that matter of fact, believe in the doctrine of Yahushua. And if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. So if you guys are happy together, stay together. All right. Verse 14, for the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife. Okay. And the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now are they holy. Now, dealing with the fact that these are both Israelites, just one believes and one doesn't. Okay. Reason being, the Lord could have mercy, all right, on your unbelieving husband or unbelieving wife, all right, for your sake. As Paul told, I think it was a centurion or so, I forgot exactly who it was, but he basically told him, you and your house, all right, basically if you believe on the Lord and you and your house can be saved, all right, you and your family. Okay, so that's interpreting, your comment based on non-Israelite meaning a non-believer. Now, if the woman is an actual, all right, like you said, a non-Israelite woman, if the woman is an actual heathen, meaning her lineage doesn't go back to an Israelite, but it actually goes back to one of the other nations, okay, one of the 17 other nations, all right, whether, Edomite, so-called Caucasian, or, Elamite, Indian, or, whatever, and she's an actual heathen, then if you living on the soil of America, there's really not much hope for you, because the only people that are going to make it on those chariots are Israelites. They may look, you may have an Israelite on the chariot or getting delivered, I should say, that looks straight up Indian, or that looks straight up white, or looks straight up Chinese or Japanese or Russian or German, but their line goes back to an Israelite, they're going to get delivered. But if you have an actual heathen, they're not making it on them chariots. Okay, so their best bet is probably to make sure you're not on the soils of America and other predominant parts that are going to be hit by those missiles. But if you are on American soil, then you know what I'm saying, it's pretty much a wrap. Okay, because heathens are not going to get delivered on those chariots. Now, there are going to be heathens alive, okay, after World War III, after Yahushua comes down, because it's not every part of the earth that's going to be hit with nuclear missiles. So there's going to be heathens that are going to be alive on different parts. So like I said, so long as you find somewhere that's not, a nice quiet area somewhere, and, go, rock out over there or something. Because if you're on the soils of America, the only people getting delivered are Israelites, but predominantly the elect, all right, the chosen, all right, of the nation of Israel. Okay, and I have a couple of scriptures going into that. Okay, now, according to the law, we're not supposed to marry, okay, heathens. Okay, you can deal with them as a concubine, but to take them as a wife, according to the scriptures, you're not supposed to do that. Okay, So I mean, chances are, being like I said, your best bet, is to hope that you are an Israelite. Now you may not look, like I said, you may not look like an Israelite. You may not look so-called black or Latino or Hispanic or Native American. But hey, if this truth makes sense to you, if it resonates with you, or if your line goes back to an Israelite, then you might have hope. Okay. But even on top of that, you got to be of the elect. Okay. So, hey, if you are an actual heathen, and if you get destroyed, hey, you come back in the kingdom anyway, But, on this side, man, the only people getting delivered out of here are the elect. All right. Those are the only ones getting delivered out of the soils of America. Now, this is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 1. It says, when the Lord thy power shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hast cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And these are just examples, all right, because at the time that was the nations in that specific location. All right, it says, and when the Lord thy power shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them, meaning kill them, and utterly destroy them. Notice they won't bring this out in the church, but whoa, this is what the Lord said though. He said the Lord said you got to kill people? What? Yeah. It says, thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. I thought God was all love. Anyway, verse 3 says, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. Why is that? For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. And guess what? That happened to King Solomon. All right. His heart was turned away from the Lord because of those heathen wives that he had. Okay. And another one here, this is the book of Ezra, chapter 9, verse 10. It says, and now, O our power, or our God, what shall we say after this? For we have forsaken thy commandments. And Ezra is going to be more specific as to what he means by that. Verse 11, which thou hast commanded by thy servants the prophets, saying, the land unto which ye go to possess it is an unclean land, with the filthiness of the people of the lands, with their abominations, which have filled it from one end to another with their uncleanness. Now therefore give not your daughters unto their sons. That means don't have your daughter marry a heathen man. Neither take their daughters unto your sons. Don't have your son marry a heathen woman. Nor seek their peace or their wealth forever, that they may be strong, or that ye may be strong, and eat the good of the land, and leave it for an inheritance to your children forever. This is what the Lord commanded us, all right, to do. And now going into so this is basically the law, all right. You're not supposed to marry a non-Israelite. Okay, you can deal with them, like I said, as concubines, but that's as close as they'll get. Okay, you can still have children with them. The children will be Israelites, but in terms of marriage and wife, there's a different status between a wife and a concubine, all right, or a servant. Okay, so going back to your question, your best bet is that you are an Israelite, okay, or your line goes back to an Israelite. But also reincarnation is a thing. So because even if you are an Israelite, if you're not of the elect, you know what I mean, if the Lord doesn't have mercy on you, you're not gonna get delivered, all right, out of this land. If you here on the soils of America, okay, you're gonna be burnt up when the missiles hit. Okay, but if you are an Israelite and you repent and the Lord has mercy on you, then you're gonna be all good. Okay. So now this is the book of Revelation 18:4, because it's going to tell you, it says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people. Okay, my people. And who is that? The elect, the nation of Israel, starting with the elect. And the Lord is telling them, come out of her. Come out of who? Babylon. Because when you read a couple verses above, it tells you what? Babylon is fallen. This is the destruction of Babylon. And when this is happening, this is when the elect are getting delivered and getting beamed up into those chariots so they don't die. All right, like it tells you here, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. And one of those plagues is going to be the nuclear missiles. Okay, and the chariot, the laser beams from the chariots that are going to be destroying this place. All right, so those that are going to get delivered out of this place are what? My people. Who's the Lord's people? Amos, what's that? 3 and 1 or 1 and 3? Okay, the elect. All right, or the nation of Israel. Revelation chapter 7. It goes into those that were delivered. Okay, and I'm not really gonna read it, but I'm gonna just highlight the points. All right, when you read on down, it tells you how you have the 144,000, 12,000 men out of each tribe. Okay, and then you have the innumerable multitude. Revelation 7 and 9. After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. This doesn't mean that heathens, all right, are what John saw, because like I read to you earlier in Deuteronomy 28 and 64, you have Israelites that are scattered into all nations and kindreds and peoples and tongues. So this multitude that John saw were the Israelites that were living, all right, or scattered amongst all nations and kindreds and peoples and tongues. So being that you were scattered there, maybe your forefather lived there, guess what? He might have married or procreated with the women there, and eventually here you are and you look just like them. All right. That's just how it works. Your phenotype, you might get it from your mom, and you might come out looking like a heathen, but your spirit still goes back, or your lineage still goes back to an Israelite. So that's what John is seeing here. All right, he's seeing Israelites that were living in all these different lands, so they look like the people of those lands. All right, so deep end imagery. I don't know what your lineage is. I don't know who you are, but if you are an actual heathen, okay, somebody that's a non-Israelite, an actual heathen, and I'm not talking about a non-Israelite as in a non-believer, as in I just don't believe what you guys say. But if you're an actual heathen, meaning your lineage goes back to a heathen, a non-Israelite, all right, then like I just read here, you're not gonna be a part of those that get delivered, okay? You're not going to be a part of that. I mean, hey, who knows? In process of time, whether you make it or not, maybe in the kingdom, you might meet the man that you were with, and he might take you as a concubine. Who knows? All right. But I mean, the way you asked the question, I don't know. You could be an Israelite. Okay. I don't know. You could be an Israelite, and if you are, then repent. All right, and pray that the Lord have mercy on you, so that you can you and your husband could work out, or really you could get delivered. That's the main point, the main message. Okay. Moving on, this is the book of Revelation chapter 15. All right, and this goes into what John saw, and he talks about those that he saw, okay, who had gotten the victory over the beast. Verse 2, it says, and I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of the Most High. And who are these? These are the elect. Okay, and that sea of glass is the firmament that the elect are gonna look down through from the chariots and see the destruction. All right, that's taking place. Okay, but in here, you're not gonna have heathens in here. Okay, that's just not gonna happen. Heathens ain't gonna make it. Some of them are gonna be alive. They're gonna be in the kingdom of heaven, but they're not gonna be they're not gonna be on our level, and they're not gonna be on those chariots. Okay, so I'm gonna say it again. Your best bet is that your line goes back to an Israelite. Okay, then there's hope. Okay, but if you are an actual heathen, then there's not really much hope. Okay, so hopefully that clarified. That might have brought some answers to your question. I don't know. I think, all right, this is just me speaking as a man, but I get the feeling that maybe what you mean by a non-Israelite woman is just that you don't believe what he believes. Okay, but if that's the case, that wouldn't make you a non-Israelite woman. You would, if you are an actual Israelite, that will make you an Israelite who just doesn't, either number one, doesn't know you're an Israelite, or you just don't believe in the gospel. Okay, but by blood, by nationality, you would still be an Israelite. Hopefully that's the case for you if you are an Israelite, and that would be, the best. From there you can move on, and repent and, hey, seek the Lord. Okay, so with that, I hope you were edified. All right, for you and other viewers that watched. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachakudash. Until next time, Shalom.